This is a story about objects, about the things that made me love reading and writing. When I was 8 or 9, my opa gave me a couple books for Christmas. One was a book about astronauts that culminated in a hopeful scene of an American astronaut and a Soviet cosmonaut floating in zero gravity aboard a space station, shaking hands. The other was a paperback Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. I remember the word collegiate made me feel very smart. My opa had an office on the second floor above the garage that I loved to sneak into and which was full of books. For this reason, when my opa gave me books for Christmas, I felt like I was being invited into his world. I was a stepchild, so I think that being given books, which were so special to my opa, was a sign of validation. By giving me books, my grandfather was saying that I belonged to him. It became a tradition that he would give me books, and in fact he still does. And when he sends Christmas money for our sons, we use it to buy books. After Opa gave me these first books, I began collecting chapter books that I could read in one night, the Encyclopedia Brown and Great Brain detective books, and Louis L'Amour westerns, especially the Sackett novels. I read books about supposedly true unexplained mysteries, like a story about disembodied hands that attacked unsuspecting drivers in the Arizona desert. These books were incredibly important to me. Even now, any book I find worth reading is a book worth owning, so I buy most of what I read. A book, to me, is its own trophy. Many years later, I spent my days teaching freshman writing and nights working as a police officer patrolling the inner city. My students would compose literacy narratives recounting their early experiences with reading and writing. Among my students, it was nearly universal that they had someone who read favorite books to them. Then I would go into houses at night where the limited literacy or busy work schedules of struggling parents meant that there was little family reading time. The differences in the experience of most of my college students and of the children in the neighborhoods where I worked were, to me, startling and profound. And confronting these differences changed the way I thought about literacy. I would think of my own sons in our house full of books, where we have more digital devices than we have people living in our house, and where my wife and I, both professional educators, read every night with our boys.
Brown.
That's right. Did Pete cry?
Goodness, no.
Then I would think of all these homes where there are no portable typewriters, iPads, hardcover journals, or books with the clumsy signatures of children in the covers. I've come to realize how important objects are to literacy. I've come to see how important it is for a child to own a book, to have it on his own shelf, to write her name on the inside of the cover. Libraries are enormously important, but I've come to believe that nothing can replace the feeling of ownership that one gets having personal access to literate objects. This belief has come to define my research and my writing, and my desire to get as many books into as many hands as possible, hands that can write their names on the inside covers.
Brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a blue horse looking at me. Blue horse, what do you see?